an Omega level mutant that has the potential to grant life and death to anybody he comes in contact with. Who is Elixir? We're about to find out in this video. To start off, Elixir's first appearance is New Mutants Volume 2, Issue 5 that came out in 2003. So Josh Foley, aka Elixir, joined an anti-mutant group called the Reavers, alongside his best friend at the time, named Duncan. This group was led by Donald Pierce and the big sister of Cerebro called Cerebra, Detective Josh, so Danny Moonstar and Karma went to investigate. Soon enough, the Reavers got into a fight with the Xavier students, and when one of the members of the Reavers got hurt, Josh discovered his powers of being a healer when he tried to help that member. When the Reavers member saw Josh heal him, Josh quickly knocked him out to keep his powers a secret, but it wasn't too long until he felt that he had to heal Lori Collins, aka Wallflower, which led to her having a crush on Josh in the process. When the rest of the Reavers found out that Josh was a mutant, they rejected Josh, jumped him, and whooped his ass. If that wasn't bad enough for Josh, his parents disowned him and signed over his guardianship to the Xavier Institute, or more specifically Danny Moonstar, aka, well, you guys and girls guessed it, Moonstar, as soon as they found out that he was a mutant. Crappy parents, so I wouldn't blame Josh if we didn't want to talk to them again. So Josh moved to the Xavier Institute. It was basically the only home that Josh had left to go. His roommate was David Elaine, aka Prodigy. Josh also made new friends such as Julian Keller, aka Hellion, Santa Vaquero, aka Rockslide, Cecily Kincaid, aka Mercury, and finally Victor Borkowski, aka Noli. But when they found out Josh's history with the Reavers, they stopped being friends with them. To be honest, I can't really blame them, as I take it from their perspective. If you were friends with someone and found out that they were in a hate group that hates your kind and your race, you would distance yourself from them. It's going to take some time for Josh to prove himself to the other students, so later on, Rain Sinclair, aka Wolfsbane, came to the Xavier Institute so she could teach there. She was the power at this point in time, but Josh instantly had a crush as soon as he laid eyes on her. When Rain was denied a teaching post due to her immaturity, Josh sneaked out and followed her to a bar and quickly hit it off. During their makeout session, Josh unintentionally reactivated her powers, which caused Rain to lose control and attack Josh, wounding him dearly. Lori entered the scene and saw Rain in her wolf form standing over Josh's unconscious body. Lori quickly used the powers to scare away Rain and got help. Josh was quickly rushed to the infirmary in the Xavier Institute, but there was one problem, as Warren Worthington, aka Angel, was nowhere to be found to heal Josh. The only solution the students and Beast could think of was to wake up Josh so he could heal himself. So Noriko Ashita, aka Surge, used a bit of her powers to wake up Josh with a small jolt of electricity. This was a success as Josh woke up and healed himself. Something else happened which shocked the whole room. Josh had golden skin. This was possibly a second mutation Josh activated, and Moonstar theorized that Josh had his skin turned gold because he always wanted to be the golden boy, and it wasn't a second mutation. Time soon passed, and after some recent events, Cyclops and Emma Frost decided to organize the older Xavier students to training squads. Josh was assigned to Moonstar's squad called the New Mutant Squad and given the codename Elixir. With all the new changes happening, Rain decided not to have a relationship with Josh, as she was assigned to be one of Josh's teachers. It was at this time that Lori attempted to make her move on Josh. The shot Lori took worked out in her favor, as both her and Josh went out for some food and then to an arcade. The day turned out well, but here's the kicker. Josh not only had feelings for Lori, but he still had feelings for Rain. So Rain decided to end things with Josh for real, and another mutant named Kevin Ford, aka Wither, overheard Josh and Rain's conversation and tried to use that information to break up Josh and Lori's relationship, as he had feelings for Lori too. This created an argument between Josh and Lori, which led to them breaking up. So here's the thing right after that. Lori tried to rub salt in the wound by being petty and using her pheromone powers to kiss Prodigy, so Josh could end up being jealous. Soon after, Lori's mom, Gail, came to visit her, but she had bad time as the Blob attempted to raid the school, and the gate he broke through landed on Lori's mom. Lori asked Josh to heal Gail, and he was able to save her life. With all the drama that's going on in the team, such as the issues in Josh and Lori's relationship, plus the beef Josh had with Prodigy for kissing Lori, Sophia Manteiga, aka Wind Dancer, decided to organize a small camp out at night on the Xavier Institute grounds. It was very much needed as all the drama settled down and everyone apologized to each other. Soon after M-Day, where Scarlet Witch said no more mutants and erased most of the mutant population, Josh was one of the few mutants that kept his powers. Real quick though, I feel like this is my third time mentioning M-Day and Scarlet Witch. I know I mentioned it in my previous Sunspot origin video. I get the feeling I mentioned it in another video unless I'm just bugging. Moving along. So both teachers and students had to leave the Xavier Institute for their safety. Moonstar also didn't have her powers anymore, so she had to leave the institute as well. The students that didn't have the powers anymore were transported out using a bus, but this would end in tragedy as the bus exploded, killing the students on it, including a student named DJ that Josh was trying to save. William Stryker was the villain behind the explosion. Emma Frost later organized an all-out skirmish between the remaining mutants to see who would be eligible to become part of the new X-Men team. Josh was able to join, however, during a training session, he hit Colossus over the head while he wasn't in his metal form, as Josh was still emotional over the deaths of the students in the bus explosion. So he was temporarily off the team. Laurie soon enough will have a conversation with Josh on how Emma Frost's new X-Men team wasn't really doing much good. Then all of a sudden, she's shot and killed by the agent of William Stryker. Everyone else went outside and witnessed Josh breaking down in front of Laurie's dead body. Wolverine tried to hold Josh back, but Josh's powers adapted, and when Wolverine let Josh go, you can see warts and boils appearing on Wolverine's hands. When Stryker would later try to attack the Xavier Institute, Josh, still filled with anger, killed Stryker by cutting off circulation in his body. Josh's skin would turn black, and he went into a catatonic state, constantly thinking about the recent events we just got over. When Laura Kenny, aka X-23, needed a healer from her near-fatal injuries after a battle with Nimrod, Josh snapped out of his catatonic state in order to heal Laura. During the healing process, Josh's skin reverted back to his gold form. Of course, that didn't mean he went back to his happy-go-lucky self, as he was constantly in his own thoughts, only wearing white and having some dark thoughts, especially when it involved Laurie's death. In that state, he was like a totally different person. Around that time, other students went into a place called Limbo. Josh gained a major boost in knowledge, including biology, anatomy, and physiology, thanks to Stepford Cuckoo's copying the knowledge from the mind of Beast. This allowed Josh to use his abilities more creatively and thoroughly. This boost was very useful as Josh was able to grow back Prodigy's heart after it was ripped out by a demon from Limbo named Belasco. But this took a lot out of Josh, and he passed out from exhaustion momentarily. Josh would then freak Mercury out when she asked him how old he was. He responded on how he feels his cells constantly aging and dying. Kitty Pryde would try to talk to Josh too, but his response worried her as he thought about life and death. He thought that if he could give life and then take it away, he questioned what can't he do. This mindset was very much like Magneto's mindset, and Kitty had the other teachers keep an eye on Josh, so they wouldn't make the mistake of creating a second Magneto. On the bright side for Josh, he and Alani Ryan, aka Loa, started dating. It's pretty bold as Alani went into Josh's room and straight up asked him if he wanted to make out. Josh was in shock and he basically just said sure. Just before Josh joined X-Force, which included Wolverine, X-23, Domino, Archangel, and Warpath, he had to heal Rain after the Purifiers gave her a heroin overdose. While healing her, Josh was attacked once again by Rain, and then she went towards Angel and tore out his wings, so that Reverend Craig can claim them. Elixir healed Angel and tried to grow back his wings, but come to find out, his wings weren't really organic and he still carried the genetic modifications made by Apocalypse. Soon enough, he turned back into Archangel, which is a totally different story in itself, so we're sticking to this one. So X-23 thought that Josh knew a little bit too much about the X-Force team, since it's basically a Black Ops off-the-books version of the X-Men that takes on anyone that threatens mutant kind, plus they're more lethal and aggressive towards threats. So X-23 called in the Stepford Cuckoo sisters to erase his memories, but that was interrupted as they had a mission which involved getting a virus called the Legacy virus back from Vanisher. So Josh was able to keep his memories and join the X-Force. When the team found Vanisher, Josh used his abilities to give Vanisher a brain tumor in the form of the X-Men logo. And it was quite funny as Wolverine pointed it out, and he told Josh to just stop talking and don't ruin it, because Josh was basically just explaining too much on how he did it. X-23 was soon infected with the Legacy virus, and when she tried to sacrifice herself, Josh saved her by grabbing her hand and convinced her that she was more than what she thinks she is, which gave her more reasons to live, plus he helped X-23 get rid of the virus. Soon after, in another arc, Cyclops sent Josh and the rest of the X-Force to the future to bring Cable and Hope Summers back to the present. Now that I'm thinking about it, Hope is also known as the Mutant Messiah, and if you guys and girls want to know why and how powerful she is, let me know in the comment section below so I can make an origin video about her too. Back to Josh though, since this is his video, who had to protect Hope Summers from a threat named Strife. Josh tried to use his powers to give Strife cancer, but it failed as Strife used his telekinetic powers to force Josh to heal him. After the battle with Strife was over, part of the X-Force team, including Josh, Wolverine, and Archangel, went back to the present and saved Surge and Hellion. But with all the energy it took Josh to heal Surge and Hellion, plus with all the time traveling, he fell into a coma. Josh would soon wake up thanks to the goddess of death, Hela, as the Wolf Prince named Rimhari requested and pointed out that Josh was the only one that could help Wolfsbane in their unborn Asgardian child, as Wolfsbane was dying due to her body not being strong enough to carry the child. In order to save her, he transferred some strength from the baby to Wolfsbane so she could survive the pregnancy. The X-Force team would soon fully reunite to take out Selene and her inner circle on Genosha. Josh encountered Kevin, aka Wither, if you guys and girls forgot about him since he was only mentioned once in the video, and they would fight to the death. Kevin insulted Josh by mentioning that he failed to protect Lori and that Kevin was the only one that loved her. Josh quickly reverted to his black form and mentioned how he always loved Lori, and then he turned Kevin to dust, killing him. This was the final mission for Josh as he quit the X-Force and decided to stay on Genosha, as he couldn't revert back to his gold form and was stuck in his black form. Also, to make things more complicated for him, he couldn't heal anymore at that time, since this is still comics. In recent comics that Josh was featured in, he is part of, let's say, a resurrection team of mutants including him, Egg, Tempest, Proteus, and Hope Summers. The main job was to combine all their powers to successfully resurrect dead mutants on Krakoa. But as I'm speaking, I think the Krakoa arc for the X-Men and mutant kind recently ended, so who knows where Josh will end up now. So we're gonna move on to his powers and skills. And to summarize it all, he can control the biological structure of himself and others down to a genetic level, including healing, resurrection, manipulating life force energy, detect abnormalities in DNA, induct various illnesses, swellings, and organ failure. Last but not least, this could have been either or, like a nerd fact or like powers or skills, but let's put it in powers or skills. He does have a golden black form, as we've been mentioning that in the video, and it all depends on how he uses his powers. When he's in his gold form, that's when he uses his powers for healing. When he's in his black form, that's when he's using his powers to create illnesses and diseases within people. Now, moving on to nerd facts, he was a member of the Hellfire Club with Emma Frost, and during the World War Hulk event, Josh was able to temporarily take away Hulk's healing factor when he invaded the Xavier Mansion. Josh was also a member of the Brotherhood of Mutants with Magneto as the leader of the team too. Moving on to my personal thoughts, I do like Josh as a character, especially with his character development over the years. The only downside to him is that his healing powers are basically limitless, making him a cheat code, which in turn could risk him being included in less and less stories, since it removes the consequences and the risk factor in potentially good stories. But I do hope that's not the case, and I want him to keep growing and be featured in future stories. But that's just my thoughts. Besides all that, if you guys and girls stuck this long into the video, you're the best and I really appreciate you. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications, especially if you're a new viewer. If you want to support the channel even more, my links including my other social media are in the description box below, and I'll see you guys and girls later. Peace.